We are recording.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular scheduled board meeting for the Department of Water and Power for November 20th. Barbara, please call the roll.
We have Commissioners Holloman, Moss, and Noonan present.
We have a quorum. This proceeding is broadcast on Channel 35. The exact broadcast times can be found by contacting Channel 35. Item number 2 is a report and briefing by our General Manager, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Vice President Holloman and Commissioners. I wanted to provide a brief overview of a pretty incredible undertaking that our power crews did in the past few weeks back in Long Island. Hurricane Sandy was one of the most intense storms that has ever hit back east, mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. Particularly hard hit was Long Island. Long Island is one of the larger municipal utilities in the U.S., and it is, just as it sounds, it's a 110-mile long island, and as a result, just geographically difficult to get to at times in situations of storms. They sustained winds of over 90 miles an hour, and unlike normal hurricanes, if there's any such thing as a normal hurricane, where they experience perhaps 4 or 5 hours of intense wind, the eye blows on through, they had nearly 24 hours straight of sustained around 90 mile an hour winds. Very heavily treed island, and most of the neighboring utilities, while not as intensely affected as Long Island was, still had their own issues to deal with. And this is a situation where when utilities have major outages like this, particularly those caused by natural causes, you work with mutual assistance from neighboring utilities to come out. Well, other neighboring utilities certainly weren't in a position to be able to do that. They had things themselves to deal with. So as a result, public power utilities across the nation came to the aid of Long Island. At one point in time, they had nearly 1 million of their customers were out of power. And Los Angeles Water and Power was one of those, as well as those from Washington State, Texas, Arizona, South Carolina, other parts of the U.S. We sent about 62 of our employees back there to deal with that. Over 30 trucks and associated equipment. Our crews included management and coordinator representatives, supervisors, safety representatives, construction crews, line clearance crews, fleet maintenance crew, all to go back there and be part of a much greater force that came in and descended upon Long Island to try to help them out of this situation. And to get them back there, we worked with the Strategic Air Command that sent them back in C-5As and C-15 transport planes starting back on November 3rd. A lot of work to get done back there. Our employees did an outstanding job of doing that. I'd like to put a few pictures just to get an idea of what this all entailed. Certainly not a usual use of our equipment and not a normal day on the job by any means as we went out of March Air Force Base. Oops, right one's going on here. As we put our equipment on, and when we got there, these are the sort of things that our crew saw around Long Island. Just major destruction, as you can see. A lot of trees. It's a heavily treed area. The destruction was pretty extensive, pervasive. The weather was certainly not Los Angeles weather by any means. The situation when you arrive at something like this, the power is out, so it's not like you can go check into your local Motel 6. So they had to put up, FEMA worked with them and others and put together temporary large tent arrangements to provide a place during this circumstance. Got in, you might notice a familiar face in the center of that crew back there. Aaron went back there. Aaron Benjamin, head of power, went back there for a few days to work with the staff on this. So looking at this, you sort out, what you need to deal with and get to the job and dealing with a circumstance that's frankly a bit different than Los Angeles. These are the types of things that our crew was dealing with to try to help bring back about 8,000 or so customers back online as part of many other crews from other utilities that came aboard to get it done and do the right thing among different utilities. The type of thing that we would hope that we would get in reciprocity if we were ever to have major circumstance down here, such as something like the Northridge quake that we had in the past. It's an outstanding piece of work. I'm incredibly proud of our employees, not just the employees that went there, but the ones that provided logistics to get them there, as well as provided them support here, and the crews and the others that stood in for the people that were back there during that period of time. All of our employees were able to get back by last Thursday night and Friday morning of last week. Our equipment came back not by plane, but by rail. It all came back by yesterday morning, and happy that we're able to be a part of that restoration, that returned things back, and got our crew back home to their families before Thanksgiving. So, Aaron, I want to thank you for all the work that you've done and the great work that the crews have done. And I think later on perhaps next month, we'll get a chance to get some people in here for some recognition. So it's really
That'd be great.
Above and beyond. Thank you, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. I was actually in New York a few days after, and there for that first snowstorm, and just kind of as an interesting aside and lighter note, one of my colleagues talked about how his son wasn't able to be on his video games because he had no power, and for the first time in about a year and a half, he's able to play catch with him with the ball in the front yard instead of banging out on the computer or a Nintendo or something like that. But thank you to you and Aaron and the entire crew for that work. It's great when Americans come together and help each other out in times of crisis. Item 3 is comments or requests from commissioners relating to LADWP operations. Anything from either?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss.
In light of this morning's news, I don't know how well publicized it was, but the state of North Carolina had a little problem with a cyber attack on tax records of the citizens of the state of North Carolina that has resulted in a lot of identity theft. And in light of that, I wanted to request General Manager to make a presentation, probably most appropriately in closed session, as to the department's efforts to maintain and secure the confidential information of our customers so that some sort of hacking like they've experienced with taxpayers in North Carolina doesn't happen to our customers at DWP.
Be pleased to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Noonan?
No, thank you.
Any items on the consent calendar you'd like to have pulled? Nope. All right. So item 5, we won't have a
I
quorum
do have a
for.
speaker card for item 4 now.
I'm sorry. Do we have? I didn't have it noted here. Do we have?
No, they just handed it to me.
Okay, great. Let's do it.
Item number 4, public comment, Linda Romney.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to address the problem as far as response by the Department of Water and Power. Specifically, the fact of the matter is that the DWP bills no longer have a postmark on them, and they are not sent in a timely manner, and the DWP gives you exactly 10 days from receipt thereof in which they consider it delinquent and they start charging a late fee. Further, should you have a problem with your bill, there's absolutely no one in the Department of Water and Power, including our latest 2 individuals, Connie and Miss, what's her name?
Rope.
Yeah. That will take care of the problem. Even though you write correspondence, the fact is that when you have an agreement, and you have that agreement by senior Department of Water and Power staff, you have no alternative at this point but to file a claim and to proceed with litigation. This is because there's a breach of contract occurring, and what you receive in writing, including from the general manager, Mr. Nichols, is that they cannot correct their mistake retroactively. So unfortunately, the fact of the matter is I'll have to proceed with litigation. It actually should be a class action at this point. Also, we're going to be doing some kind of a website where we put up information regarding the discounts that are available, what occurs at this meeting, the claim form process, etc., so that there's some type of actual transparency that occurs for the ratepayer. Right now, your ratepayer has absolutely nowhere to go other than litigation and nothing that's done. So far, I have 3/4 of an acre that my landscaping, my trees, etc., I, as a senior disabled, have had my water turned off for a year. It was a mistake by the Department of Water and Power. They've taken care of that part of the bill, but they've not taken care of my damages. I'm going to be putting that up on the website also, including the live streaming of the commission hearing, which shows that I was interrupted no less than 800 times, and that the decision was totally and completely incorrect, and the concealment by Letice Williams as far as the doctrine site that has to do with underground water leaks. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last card for item 4.
Thanks, Barbara. We will not have a quorum for item 5 because Commissioner Noonan was not present on the 22nd, so we'll defer that until Commissioner Sales arrives, as well as having a speaker card for 13. So 5 and 13 will move from the consent calendar to approval and discussion, which leaves 6 through 12. Correct, Barbara?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve items 6 through 12.
Thank you.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
6 through 12 passes unanimously. Item 5 will move to the end of the approval and discussion items. Let's take 13 now, and we have a speaker card for 13, Barbara?
Yes, I have speaker cards. The first speaker is Quinyan Ma.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for the opportunity to present the comments here. I'm the Dean of School of Architecture at USC, University of Southern California. With close to 100-year tradition, USC has educated more than 6,000 architects who, including 2 Pritzker laureates, has helped building the city of Los Angeles in the past, and now the cities around the world today. I see parallel in the mission of LADWP in its 100-year mission to form the city of Los Angeles and empowered the most global region of the world. I also see parallels in our transformation commanded by the time, providing life sources to conserving natural resources, from providing urban spaces to sustain urban environments. These common challenges made USC School of Architecture and LADWP the perfect partner. And for this, I thank Ron Nichols in his support and leadership in research, education in the area of energy and environmental sustainability. And as a result, we have launched the Solar Decathlon project, which is a showcase of net zero design and construction project, and with the outreach for public awareness and public education. And once again, I thank you for the opportunity to address the group. Thank you again.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Evan Larson.
Good afternoon. I am one of the student project managers for the Solar Decathlon, and I wanted to share as a student how much this project means that we don't often get the chance to be involved in a built project in something that is so innovative, and we feel like this is going to have a wonderful effect on the community, both the school and the surrounding, and perhaps even Los Angeles as a whole. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And the next speaker is Corey Kolzarski.
Thank Good afternoon. I'm a fourth-year student at the USC School of Architecture, and I'm also the team health and safety officer. And I also wanted to comment on the amazing opportunity that this project is for both one of the largest municipal utilities in the country and the school to be working on a net zero house, and what this means for sustainability in architecture in the future, and the opportunities for Los Angeles, the country, and the school. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the last card for 13.
Great. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Since this item mentions USC, I thought it would be appropriate to raise the USC-UCLA score from this weekend under this item. It wasn't agendized last year, though. There's no Brown Act violation here. It clearly says USC. So
Well, I, for one, think this is a wonderful partnership and a wonderful example for the City of Los Angeles, so I move that we approve this item.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you for allowing me not to have to respond to.
Unfortunately, since
You waited, how old was your son the last time?
9 years old.
Exactly. And he's 15 now, I believe? Right. All in favor of 13?
Aye.
13 passes unanimously. Congratulations, Trojans. That takes us to item 14. We have a speaker card, Barbara.
Yes, the speaker is Tony Wilkinson.
I'm Tony Wilkinson, Chair of the Neighborhood Council, Department of Water and Power, Memorandum of Understanding Oversight Committee. I'm speaking here in favor of this item, largely because the General Manager has told us that it is important to the Department's interest. I wanted to say also, this is regarding the LA River Revitalization Plan, that there are a large number of people in the neighborhood council system who are very supportive of revitalization of the Los Angeles River. There are also many who feel that the expenditures in this area are not a proper expense for ratepayers of the department. And to date, the department has spent over $5 million on both planning and other items in conjunction with this project. The current item is, I believe, $400,000 a year for 3 years to support continued planning. And I think it's entirely appropriate, particularly to keep some control over the planning process and make certain that not only does it do whatever we can for the city and for the river, which is a good thing, but also take care of protecting the department's interests in both water infiltration opportunities and also, frankly, to make certain that the planning has financial opportunities other than the department for continued revitalization, because it's going to, in my opinion, require those other sources instead of the department, particularly avoiding, for example, burying the power lines, which could cost half as much as we're spending to redo all of our ocean cooling power plants. So I'm in support of this. I think that it is going to be good for the department to be in control of some part of the planning process, and I hope that's where it stops. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nichols, do we have a presentation on this item?
We do,
It says
yes.
so on the brief.
Yes, we do.
We do?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kelly Bernard. I'm Director of Economic Development. I'm here to talk about the River Revitalization Project and give you a bit about the progress that we've had and ask for your approval of the fourth agreement. I want to ask that Deborah Weintraub, who is the Deputy City Attorney, City Engineer for the Bureau of Engineering, join me along with Jill Sorrell, who is a Deputy in Council Member Ed Reyes' office. They've been amazing partners for us.
Welcome.
So again, As you've heard, we have been a long-term partner of the Bureau of Engineering and in the city for the revitalization of the river. We first became involved in 2007, and we funded the creation or the development of the Los Angeles River Revitalization Master Plan that was adopted in council in 2007. And that support totaled $3 million. And so that has laid the groundwork for all of the work that has proceeded that. In addition, our support has helped fund the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers LA River Ecosystem Restoration Visibility Study. It most recently was included in President Obama's budget for the first time in a number of years, so we are very excited about that. And for this fourth agreement, yes, it is for 3 years. It's for $400,000 over per fiscal year, and that will continue to fund the consulting services that we use for the program, along with development of an economic development strategy for a riverfront district. Right now, the city's back is really to the river. We turn our backs to it the way development has happened, but this is an effort to really embrace the river. It's a 32-mile stretch that runs throughout the city, and so we are really working as a coalition to face the river and to revitalize it by creating a river district there. The support of the department is not just financial. All of the systems have been involved in providing this, and so I just wanted to share with you a bit about some of the people who have worked throughout the department to help with the river revitalization. When I came to the department, I'd heard from the council office and from others is that there's a lot of work that's being done at LADWP, but it's not coordinated, and we never know how to access the department to get the services. And so we formed an internal group, and so we meet monthly, and these are some of the members. It expands and grows depending on what projects we're working on. So it's this way so we can coordinate all of our activities. So at any given time, we are aware of what each system is doing as it relates and impacts the river. So I wanted to thank my internal colleagues here for all of their continued support. I think some of them are in the audience as well. The driving goals of the program over the 10 years has been, again, to revitalize the river, but also to enhance the water quality, to green neighborhoods. You see that in some of the creation of the open space that we've had an opportunity to be involved in, to create value, improve quality of life, increase employment and housing opportunities, and to capture the community opportunities. These are just a few of the key milestones. As I mentioned, in 2007, the LA River Revitalization Master Plan was adopted by council. Most recently, recently in 2011, the U.S. Army Corps approved the first LA River boating program, which has been a huge success. I don't know if any of you have had an opportunity to kayak down the river. If you haven't, it is possible, yes. If you haven't, it's a 1.5 mile course. I had the pleasure of taking the tour led by the LA Conservation Corps this summer, and so it's amazing. I mean, you get up in the valley, and you get into the river, and it's as if, I mean, it's amazing to believe that you're right in the city, the middle of the city, and, except for an occasional flyover of an airplane from Burbank Airport, you really are transported to a different place. So that's been a huge success. When the opportunities for those rides along the river are made available, they sell out very quickly. So there's a huge demand from our citizens to really embrace the river. So our work there has been really appreciated. And then most recently, as I mentioned, in 2012, President Obama included it in the study in his fiscal 2013 budget. The work that we do is part of a large coalition. As I mentioned in my early remarks, it has really been led by Councilman Ed Reyes. He has really been a huge supporter of this. He has pulled together a coalition that represents many different people and agencies, and these are just a number of those agencies. The work along the river has resulted in a number of parks that are either under construction or have been designed and built already. And so this is just a few of them. Many of them are near our easements, and so that's why we are involved in quite a bit of the planning and all of those. So, and then finally, our ratepayer talked about all of the planning that goes involved in this. And so the funds that we provide and with the work of BOE and our planning department has resulted in a coordinated effort from the city about how we look at the river and how we embrace it, and making sure that there are consistent standards of both land use and design along the river. And so these are just a number of the various studies that have taken place and have been approved since the River Coalition has formed. And this shows you here some of the other plans that impact the river and how we are participating in those efforts with the Water Quality Master Plan, the Wiser Committee, the Low Impact Development Ordinance. And so these are just a number of things, or just a few of the things that the department's funding and staff support has gone towards in supporting the revitalization of the river. And so, as I mentioned, I am joined here by the Deputy City Engineer, Deborah Weintraub, and Jill Sorrell from the Council Office, and so I wanted to give them a few moments for them to say a few words.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Jill Sorrell. I'm representing Councilmember Reyes, who chairs our city's Ad Hoc River Committee. And I'm really here just to thank you for the ongoing support that the department has provided. It really touches many different aspects of the work that DWP does. We're looking not only at economic development, but water storage and water supply. We're looking at real estate and the easements that the department has along the river. So the cooperation support has really been invaluable. And I also think, most importantly, the investment that you're making helps us leverage federal dollars with the Army Corps of Engineers. They are our federal partner, and when we start doing these large-scale infrastructure projects, they do a cost share with the city, and so it really helps us bring to fruition some of the grander visions that we have. So with that, I just wanted to thank you again, let you know we are receiving national attention. The river has been selected as one of 8 pilot projects across the country as part of the Urban Waters Initiative, and so we're very excited to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Deborah Weintraub. I'm the Chief Deputy City Engineer from the Bureau of Engineering. I'm also here to thank the LA Department of Water and Power, who has been a very important partner in this effort since 2005, really, when we started the master plan. The city has committed a lot of our own resources, and the Bureau of Engineering provides the technical staff, and we house the River Project Office in support of Councilman Reyes and the Mayor's Office. DWP has been invaluable in helping us to complete particularly the Army Corps of Engineers feasibility study, which will complete the end of next year and could represent an investment of over $1 billion in the LA River. At its most fundamental, this is an economic development effort because we're taking a resource in the city that had not been looked on favorably and turning it into something that will have value and will create value in the property all along its 50 miles. So I really am here to thank you. We look forward to continuing to work. We work very closely with your staff, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with them for the next couple of years.
Thank you. Commissioners?
I support the work that you're doing, and as such, thank you. You're thanking us. I thank you for your hard work, and I move to approve this item.
Okay. I'll second that, but I do have a question before we vote on it. Can you outline a little bit, with a little bit more specificity, what some of the benefits are to the department of our investment in the river project? You kind of glossed over it, but I'd like to know if you can drill down a little bit more, and
Sure.
so that because I'm responding to what Mr. Wilkinson said about certain, there is a feeling in the general community that perhaps this is not the best application of resources by the ratepayer money to this project, but if there is a tangible direct benefit to the department and our priorities, then that sort of goes a long way to assuage that concern.
I'm going to defer to you first.
Yes, so in addition to not only the economic development opportunities, but with the water quality and the flooding along the river, I mean, all of those things that impact our river directly impacts the department. So it's not just on the economic development side, but as Deborah mentioned briefly, it is on water storage and water quality and the watersheds.
I could expand a bit on that if you would, and that is, one of the things that we look at this is that the LA River serves a lot of different interests and needs. Some of those are not always, some of them are in conflict at times. So one of the things that we are doing as part of this is to make certain that we take into consideration not just the interests, which are incredibly important, the interests in economic development in Los Angeles, but also recognize that there are uses that we make upstream of this area for stormwater recharge, and balancing the use of those resources that makes the best use that we can for recharge while still enabling to achieve the types of benefits that we're looking downstream. It's kind of a careful balancing act. And by us having a direct role in that, it's been a very collaborative effort where those issues can be brought together, where the considerations can be juxtaposed against one another, and we can protect those interests while we at the same time meet those downstream needs. And were we not involved in that, I don't have the confidence that our customers' and ratepayer interests would necessarily be protected, not from any inappropriate interest by others, but just out of a lack of recognition of what our needs are. And so I think that process has worked very well today.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Item 14 passes unanimously. Item 15, we're going to move to the end of today's agenda, which takes us to 16, and we have a speaker card. Barbara?
Yes, I have 2 speaker cards for 16. The first speaker is Tony Wilkinson.
Tony Wilkinson, Neighborhood Council, DWP MOU Oversight Committee again. This is one where I just would be amiss if I didn't come and speak in favor of this, because while it will increase water costs over the projected water costs for the customers in the coming quarter, or coming year 2013, what we're really talking about is all the things where I thank the board for your investment in demand-side management and the tremendous the work that we've done in recycled water to take advantage of the projects that we actually have down there to have refinery use and other things in the recycled water system. All of these are part of this adjustment factor, and it's well worth every dollar. I think it's good for the people, and I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for all the underlying things above that go into this factor, because I think it's good for the people of LA.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Linda Romney.
Speaking for your ratepayers, the fact of the matter is that every time you approve millions and billions of dollars of expenditures, we, the ratepayers, have an increase. As you know, we were notified just several months ago about a 30% rate increase for the water. Now again, we have this provision that does not have the amount of money, and it should have the amount of money that we're talking about for this 1 year. We do not need to make our reservoirs drinking water quality. The fact of the matter is we're still in a depression. You have people that are out of work, have lost their jobs, are in threat of losing their jobs, have lost their homes, and now we have additional sales tax put on top of us, plus a retroactive sales tax for the city of Los Angeles. The fact is that we use the water for irrigation for our lawns, we use the water to wash our clothes, our dishes, and to take a shower. We do not need drinking quality water for that. So this expenditure for drinking water quality for all of our reservoirs is something that we do not need, and at a time when we cannot afford to invest this kind of money, because you know what's coming next. First you went for the electrical, you couldn't do both at the same time, and now it's going to be a 30% rate increase for the water, followed by, after the 2 years for the 11%, followed by another 11% on the electric. Not to mention your sewer, not to mention your sanitation going up. The bills are so prohibitive that I know you're going to a monthly billing. You have to, because in addition to your mortgage, just double it. You've got one mortgage for your home payment, and the second is going to be the same for the Department of Water and Power. You have to stay within your budget. We have to stay within our budget. You've never increased the amount of money for the indigent. for your senior citizens, for your disabled, and for your low income. The fact of the matter is the city of Los Angeles is committing genocide. Genocide. Because you continually put this through when you have an aging population, your baby boomers are retiring, and what are you doing? You're, without regard, constantly putting through rate increases. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the last card for 16.
Great. Commissioners, questions or comments on 16?
Yeah, I do have a question, if I may. I don't know who's doing the presentation. Jim, are you doing it, or?
I can give you a little bit of background on it.
Well, no, I have something specific that I want to ask, and if you want more presentation, I'm sure we can do that. But on attachment 1 in our board package, at the bottom of the page there, it shows the water procurement adjustment factor over essentially the last year and how much it's gone up. And what was not clear to me, just because the information wasn't there, is what is really driving the increase in the adjustment factor, because we've gone from about 87.5 cents to $1.38.
Yeah, what you're seeing going back a year is you're going back into a period where we were taking advantage of relatively abundant snowpack during that period, so the adjustment factor had dipped quite a bit. Now, predominantly what we're seeing is a return to normal and a little bit above normal, because this last year's snowpack was not quite a normal snowpack.
So really,
we're having to,
the number that we should focus on is really the top number, the purchased water expenses. Is that where a lot of the increase is coming from?
77% of the increase is coming from purchased water.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was afraid of.
Right.
What is our outlook for this upcoming year? Do we have any sense yet, or is it too early?
well, there's a little early snow. We were talking to some of the folks from Mammoth the other day. They're hopeful, but there's also some history of early snowfall. Then there's nothing that comes later on, so I don't know. It's really hard to tell at this point. So the various models tend to indicate that it'll be a normal, just slightly less than normal year, but the models are just models.
Okay, and you think that the estimated water sales figure that you have here is pretty accurate one?
Yeah, at this point, what we have to do is base our estimate on average, because we don't really have any real data. On the next quarterly adjustment, at that point, we'll start having some real data that will crank into this to either adjust it up or down, depending on what the snowpack looks like.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks.
Commissioner Noonan,
No questions.
do you have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
16 carries unanimously.
I do have a
So-
speaker card for 17 now.
Okay.
Okay, the
I'd like
speaker is
to
Linda
acknowledge
Romney.
the president of our esteemed president.
Please continue. I apologize.
Welcome, Commissioner Sales.
Thank you, sir. Please continue.
We have dispatched with most of the agenda. We are now on item 17. We actually deferred 5, which were the minutes, because Commissioner Noonan wasn't here on that day, so we didn't have a forum.
And we already talked smack about USCs.
Yeah,
I
certainly.
suspected, so that's why I came late. So.
So we're on 17, and we have a speaker card that we're going to right now.
Actually, I want to address, what I'm speaking about addresses most of the items, 17 through 19, specifically having to do with fiber optics. And I know, Commissioner Moss, you had a committee that was supposed to be investigating and doing studies regarding the competitiveness and how much we're receiving. I haven't had a response as
To that end, let's take 17 through 19 together. And I know you have questions on a particular one, but let's just dispense with all 3 at one time.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And specifically, I'd like to know if the studies were conducted, how competitive these rental lease agreements are. And as you know, the reason I'm asking is because of the fact that if we don't watch or aren't competitive with the money coming in, then it only means that the increases for the ratepayer is going to be higher and higher and higher. And they're already at a point where, let's face it, if we can get out of California, especially out of the city of Los Angeles, that's what we need to do, because we can't afford it here anymore. I mean, there's no restraints on the amount of money. So if you could address that and how much these leases are, and if they're competitive, I'd really appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Moss?
Well, I just wanted to ask who's presenting this item? Oh, here we are. Hello. I just wanted to point out, it looks like on item 18, the master agreement must have been an older form because it dates back to 2004. Or I think that's the right date. And the reason why I point this out is it doesn't seem that we have in the older form lease quite the same termination right upon 180 days that we do with the other agreements. I just want to verify that I'm reading that correctly.
Same. Yeah. It's a one
It's a
year.
one-year termination.
So it's twice as long as in the more modern
That's correct.
form of master agreement. Okay. And then the other question I have is related to all three of them. The provision in the IRUs for raising the rate reflects a rate increase upon an extension of the IRU. The terminology is a little confusing because I'm not sure if the extension is the one-year renewals after the initial two-year term, and every time there's a one-year renewal, we have the right to raise a rate, or are we talking about the full 5 years of the outside term?
2 years, right? Yeah, it's 2 years.
Well, it's a two-year term, but then there are essentially automatic renewal rights?
The rate's fixed for the initial 2 years, and then
And then it would be
renewals beyond
adjusted
that would be adjusted
every year
Right.
after that?
Right.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. I might point out, and this is just something for council, city attorney's office, is in the actual language of the IRU. We might want to make that a little clearer, maybe with a defined term, because all it talks about is kind of a vague reference to extensions, but it doesn't really ever define what an extension is under the agreement or in the master agreement for that matter. You might want to take a look at that. And that's it.
Thank you.
So I would move for approval of items 16, 17, and 18.
17, 18, 19.
17, 18, 19,
Second.
okay.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
17 through 19 carry unanimously. Will we keep driving?
Please, you drive the bus real well, so.
All right, that takes us to item 20.
I do have a speaker card for item 20.
Okay, let's have the speaker come forward, please.
Linda Romney.
I would like to ask that the speaker speak after the presentation. Is that possible before you vote so that we have information that can be included?
The reason I do it this way is because it allows the presenters to speak to what it is you're speaking to, versus if you come in afterwards, it's difficult for us to respond to you. But if you'd like to go after it, it's fine with me.
Yes, I would, because every item that I've raised so far, none of them has been answered. I had asked specifically as far as the fiber optics, had there been a study conducted by Commissioner Moss, and were these leases competitive? I haven't heard a response. My other questions, I've never heard a response to them. Just today I'm talking about. So yes, I'd prefer to go after they speak.
We'll have you speak after.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Sharon Grove. I'm the Assistant General Manager of the Customer Service Division, and with me I have John Chen, who is directing the implementation of the Syscon project. What we'd like to ask for is your approval today to amend some of the rules for the application of service discontinuation and restoration of service. What we have done as part of the Syscon project is get together and really review the policies that we use to bill customers via our system. What we've purchased here with the CC&B system, our best practice is a best practice application. So when we reviewed our policies, we realized we could really streamline these fees for our customers and use the system as designed for future billing of charges. These charges are simpler and cleaner to understand. They're revenue neutral. They're based on cost of service. We are taking advantage, again, as I said, of system efficiencies with the package that we purchased for our customer information and billing system, and do take advantage of best practices as applied by other utilities across the country. Any questions?
Commissioner Moss?
I had a question. There seems to be a change in the policy on the application of late payment charges. In particular, you've gone from an is to a may. And I was wondering, what is the rationale to have more discretion, and if so, where will that discretion lie, and how do you anticipate that working?
We've actually tried to align this with really what's actually happening right now. The late payment charges, we really have a grace period that we do for late payment charges, and so we really want to make this aligned with, based on electronic payments coming through now. There's actually changes in post office policy on next day delivery. Now it's 2 days for first class postage. For those things change. And so we want to make sure that we have ample grace period for our customers. Right now it's actually almost 10 days of grace period before we actually apply the late payment charge. So we want to maintain that flexibility as things change in the environment so that we don't have to come back and change the rules frequently.
And who's going to make that decision?
These would be policy decisions in the customer service division. But however, that being said, we do work with the financial services organization in all policies that affect financial impacts to the LADWP. We discuss it and get approval from FSO.
So I'm just sort of, not to really belabor this, but I'm sort of curious because let's say I get my payment in 15 days late. Who will actually decide at that point whether there's a late charge applied? Does the computer do it? Are you going to have some sort of, more absolute rule in terms of, how this is being administered? Because I think what I would like to see avoided is having late charges for, say, January's bill pop up in March or April because someone hadn't really pushed the button or had a decision made to apply the late charge or not.
This isn't intended to be a system configuration. We wouldn't really change this at all unless there was a significant change. If we didn't currently have that 10-day grace period, we would have made a change because of the post office. But this is a system configuration, so it's changed for all customers in the computer system. So it's not something that we would really change on a monthly basis. It really wouldn't be a frequent change.
So it's not an arbitrary by customer
no, it is not.
Kind of decision?
No, it is not.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on 20 from the Commissioners?
Move the item.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 20 passes unanimously. Let's take up 5, which are the minutes for August 22nd.
So moved.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. You're right. Please come forward. My apologies.
I accept your apology. It's just it is moot. But my point that I wanted to bring forth is since the Department of Water and Power imposes a late fee on the ratepayer, if the Department of Water and Power, and when the Department of Water and Power makes an error in the billing for the customer therefore should have a rule and regulation against the Department of Water and Power. It should work both ways. And when the customer has to spend their time, they're not a DWP employee, they're not paid, and they have to write their correspondence, there should be a regulation or rule in effect as to when the Department of Water and Power must respond, a timeline as to the customer. And if the Department of Water and Power is therefore found in fault and there is any action against the ratepayer, there should therefore be retribution to the ratepayer. It should not be just a one-way street. Right now you give the ratepayer 10 days exactly from the receipt of that bill before they're inflicted with a late payment. And when it takes 2 years and 60 letters and correspondence to your managements with exhibits, and then you have damages, property damage, mental, emotional, physical damage, and the department does absolutely nothing. There should be something on the other end other than simply the fact is that we all have to go to get an attorney. So I'm diametrically opposed to this. The fact of the matter is that when the DWP makes a mistake, it's not a level playing field. It's only a one-way street. And it should not be that way. And furthermore, there should be access to the department. Right now, when you call in, you cannot speak to a representative.
Thank you.
Do we need to retake the vote?
That would be correct.
We need to retake the vote?
Let's retake the vote.
Okay.
Move the item.
Thank you.
Second?
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 20 carries unanimously. Let's move to 5, which are the minutes for August 22nd.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That carries with one abstention,
Aye. Oh,
which, yeah, Commissioner Noonan wasn't here. Okay, so that leaves item 15. We're going to hear the speakers for item 15 first. I'm assuming we have speakers for 15.
Yes.
Looks like we have 4. And then we'll go into closed session on 15. So let's hear from the speakers now. Barbara.
Okay, the first speaker is Andrew Carlton.
Good afternoon. I think you guys, basically know what's going on here, but just, I guess, to quickly recap, Medina Construction and HDP bid Spec 411R1 a while back. Medina was originally, we understand, approved. They were vetted. At some point in time, it was determined that there wasn't that Medina Construction did not include or list or identify the concrete supplier on the project, and then at that point, the job was basically pulled from them, and HDP, who's been the incumbent on this job for who knows how many years, was actually awarded the project, or that's what this is about to be awarded the project, notwithstanding the $12.4 million disparity between the two bids. When that took effect, we started looking at the outreach, looking at the documents to the extent we could, and we came to find out that HDP's outreach attempts or compliance attempts miserably failed. And again, I apologize if I'm telling you something you already know, but there's a number of things we want to point out today, but not the least of which is this actual document here, which is a DWP document. It's your 1116 approval letter for HDP. We started looking at this, and we started realizing some things here we think you guys will find interesting. Right here, this here, $70,000. Both concrete contractors, pouring contractors, cutting contractors have the exact same dollar amount, down to the penny on their bid. The same is true with $612,000 and $80 right here. These two contractors, according to HDP bids.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Sorry. According to HDP's bid, HPD, I'm sorry, H we'll call. They're exactly the same to the penny. Come down here to Associated Ready Mix, $696,241. Right down here. That same number for Robertson's. $696,241. I mean, this happened 6 times. I can do this for you 6 times. The same is true with Logan Supply. It's best of the best sweeping ink, $95,484.48. Same is true with Supreme Sweeping, $95,484.48 to the penny. 2 contractors with the same bid.
Could you wrap up your remarks, please?
Pardon?
Could you wrap up your remarks, please?
Wrap them up.
There's a 2-minute limit on public comment.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll get the conclusion. I think the conclusion is, quite frankly, a dollar amount was predetermined by HPD. That lump sum was taken. It was divided up amongst a number of contractors. So they're either MBEs or WBEs. and then they were divided evenly between the contractors that do the same scope of work. And there's another thing that's very significant I didn't get a chance to point out on there is there's a number of contractors who have listed dollar amounts that are precisely 10% less than the dollar amounts that I just pointed out. So the only reasonable and rational conclusion is that in order to meet their outreach compliance requirements, they took a big number, they chopped it up by subcontractor into smaller chunks, and then they took those numbers and cut 10% out of each of those numbers and sprinkled them around these other WBE and MBE contractors in the false attempt, or in an attempt to basically show that they had met their outreach compliance, when there's just no way on God's green earth, if you take a close look at those numbers, that they've met that burden.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Rita Ferguson.
Good afternoon. Thank you again for letting me speak to you in regard to this 411R1. My name is Rita Ferguson with GNF Concrete Cutting, and I'm here to plead with the department or the commissioners to not award this specification to HPD. My reasons for this plea are as following. HPD contacted our company to bid on specification 411R1 on or about mid-July. We refused to supply a proposal to them because of the bad experiences we've had in the past. Today, and what we did is we instead negotiated with two other companies, Medina and Pavco, and we have proof that we submitted formal proposals with the actual specification number on those proposals to Medina and Pavco. We did not send a proposal to HPD. Today, I was made aware, because of the act to get the Public Works paperwork, that HPD provided a price list. And how they did that is they contacted an office representative at our office on August 13th and requested a price list. There's a big difference between our price list and a proposal. If you notice on these proposals for Medina and for Pavco, we've got the specification listed right here. On the price list, we will send out price lists for people when we're doing service work or come-due work. It's not contract work. And so there's a big misrepresentation. Also today, I was notified, or I got to see a response that HPD's attorney had written to the board, and it states that GNF's declarations are unsupported. Well, this is not true, because these are supporting that we provided formal proposals to two contractors. We did not provide it to HPD. HPD went behind the backs of Greg Ferguson, the chief estimator, and our estimating department, and went to an office personnel to get a price list. Do we have a copy of the price list? I want to show you the big difference there. So HPD treating a price list as a formal proposal to the department is a fraudulent act, and it's only looking to fulfill an outreach to the department when they knew well and full that we did not bid to them. And if I'd like permission to pass this price list out to you so you can see the big difference, the big discrepancy.
We have it.
Okay, you do. Okay. HPD's statement in the attorney's reply states that they asked for a quotation, that we agreed to do so. Again, we did not. The only work, they also say that we had a good working relationship, and we have not. We've had problems. We've had to place stop notices on the projects because of non-payment. They use it as an unwilling bank. In addition, the only work that we did for the department, or for HPD, was in September 2012. We did no work previous to that. And the only reason was because I think the contract was coming to an end, a previous contract, and I was contacted by the Department of Water and Power and asked why we didn't provide all of the services that we were listed at.
Could you wrap up your remarks, please?
So HPD lists people without subcontractors knowing that they're doing so, and then they don't give them the work, and that's the bad relationship, and I plead with you. In the form of what the supplier diversity program is supposed to be, this is fraudulent, and they should not be allowed to get away with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Daniel Fares.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry to be bothering you again. It is unfortunate that we are all here again. But I'm very thankful first to all of you for allowing this process to continue. You have been very patient with us in regards to the protest period. Ms. Williams' staff has vetted as best as she could. This is not a vendetta on the system or DWP. Today I was able to be here at 9:30. I was able to review the documentation that HPD submitted, and with the exception of an error that they made, similar to my own, they did the very best that they could as well. This is a very complicated bid. This is a very challenging bid. But they made an error, very similar to the error we made, for the reason that the department found to take this contract away from our company. Well, if the rules are going to apply to all, then they should. The question becomes, you have an owner of a company who's come now 3 times and said to you directly to this department and this board, we never submitted a bid to them. We found in going through the documentation, they actually took a data sheet, a rate sheet dated April, and used that to justify their documentation when they responded to our protest in October. That's not the way the rules were written here. Their attorney, very cleverly, wrote a response using language saying that we were not trying to stand up here and justify why we should maintain the bid. Let me respond to that on behalf of my entire company. We deserve this bid. We can perform this work. We can do it for $12.3 million less than they can. But we're not asking you to bend the rules on our behalf. But they are. That's the difference. I'm willing to stand up here and take my poison pill. Why won't they? They're a multi-year incumbent of this contract. They had a tremendous inside advantage to bidding against me and anybody else that chose to do so. They have historical data, and because they're located in the city, they got $1 million set aside. So equity in the bidding process is questionable to start with, and challenging for anybody on the outside trying to come in here and bid against them. And now we're at this point where, with your patience and the patience of staff responding to all the bids and the protests, and I do appreciate your time because this is a very cumbersome situation. Unfortunately, this sits on your table now, and I'm sorry that that's happened, because if I would have uploaded the document, we wouldn't have been here. We'd be getting ready to execute the contract and performing it. But the rules need to apply to everybody, equally the same. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker is Joseph Rossini.
Thank you. I'm here to speak on behalf of award of the contract to HPD. I believe we've addressed every issue in our paperwork, and the staff approval letter addresses every issue that that GNF has raised. And I'm just here to answer any questions if the board has any questions. Okay, thank you.
None at this time. Thank you. Let's have the admonition for a closed session.
What I would recommend that we do at this time is go back to the executive conference room in closed session under 54956.9 of the California Government Code, and then come back out and open for any open matters.
Great. Thank
Do you want to do the filed items now or after we come back?
We'll do it when we come back.
Okay.
How are you, Matt?
Oh, the lawyer.
All right, we're recording?
Or UCLA, however.
I see. All right.
We're recording.
Brown Act, so we're okay.
We're recording.
We are back from closed session. We are still on item 15. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything that we need to deal with before we go right in?
On the book.
We're back on the record. I think what we want to convey is that we're very serious about an open and fair and transparent process when it comes to these matters. And I think that's evident by the fact that this is the third meeting that we've taken this item up. But it's also important that we have an impartial process and that all of the rules are followed as we go through making a determination. To that end, the first thing we need to do is to deal with the appeal, and we're going to deny the 9-day appeal of Medina, and then deal with the rest of the items herewith. Is there a motion for more comment or questions from the commissioners?
Comments or questions? Mr. Vice President, I'd like to move the item. I'd like to move that the contract be awarded to HPD, but however, that we amend the item to provide that DWP shall issue a new RFP for these items no later than January 15th of next year. That the department report back to the board on the progress on spending under the contract, and that it is parenthetically our expectation that no more than the minimum amount will be awarded will be spent under this contract.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second and a slight amendment. On the reporting back, we'd want every 2 months report back on the status of the expenditures under the contract.
Yeah. That's a friendly amendment, sure.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments?
I'd like to just add a comment in that we've taken this situation very seriously, so much so that even on vacation I was thinking about the situation, I swear to you.
Tell them where you were.
Argentina. Yeah. Yeah. What we're hoping to do with this compromise is to not disinterest you in working with the department. And mistakes do happen. We regret the mistake that did happen. But we do hope that when the RFP is reissued, no later than January 15th, that we'll hear from you again. Thank you.
Further comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. 15 carries unanimously as amended. Thank you. Okay. That takes us to 21, which are filed items. Any questions or comments from commissioners on filed items?
Yeah, on the accounting and financial reporting, I wanted to just highlight that once again we didn't get an opportunity to take our 90% of discounts that is our goal. I know that there's an explanation in here, but I seem to recall the line about we're looking into this and trying to solve the problem appearing several times now, and I'm getting a little concerned that we're not getting the word out to all the end users that they need to be more quick with their payments.
We are working on it, and we have identified which vendors that we missed on, where we didn't get approval back or we dropped the ball. So we do continue to work on that, and we'll work with the divisions to try to get a jump start. I don't know exactly where we are for November yet. We won't know that until the end of the month. But we do take it seriously, and we do our best to get them.
Thank you.
With that, we'll deem 21 filed, and takes us to 22, which is back into closed session.
So at this point, we will recess again into closed session, and in accordance with Section 549571 of the Government Code, report any final action taken therein.
Thank you.